That is, oh, that is. Roy, you're opening up our show for us now.
There we go.
Welcome to What's Trending live from the Samsung Blogger Lounge in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest. How's everyone doing today? Yeah. We're in the middle of happy hour time here in Central Zone.
I'm delighted.
You are delighted. This is Lon Harris, my head writer, who's also a film fanatic fan.
You keep saying that, and then it sets this bar that I can't possibly...
You are very smart, and you love film.
I'll end the segment with a
That's why we hired you.
Night of the Hunter riff.
But this isn't about you or me. This is about an amazing movie that premiered here at South by Southwest Chef. And joining us to talk about the movie and their experiences in it, we have the very young Emjay Anthony, Roy Choi, and the one and only Jon Favreau. I want to encourage you all, remember we are listening to, this is live and interactive, tweet with the hashtag Samsung SXSW if you're live in person or live online. Also, we have a microphone here for all you people here in the lounge. You can ask any question, and this is, you know, it's a small group, it's a fun group.
Any question. You can ask
there are limitations
an appropriate
to that.
question.
Tell us, this is it's such a fun movie, and what inspired you to jump into this whole world as a chef and the food trucks and restaurants and everything?
It was I've always been interested in the chef culture. It's really been blowing up, and I watch a lot of cooking shows, read a lot of books about it, and been trying to work in a character from that world. And all of a sudden it just kind of hit me. I got an outline for this thing, and I haven't had a script hit me this quickly in a long time.
Yeah.
Since I wrote Swingers like 20 years ago.
Which we love, so, yes.
Thank you. Before they were born.
My
parents loved that movie. And I wrote the thing in about 2 weeks, and then I set out to find somebody who could help me figure out the authenticity of the writing, make sure that it was really depicted the chef culture. And Roy Choi and I got hooked up together.
We all know from Kogi, the
Kogi food
trucks. Making me salivate right now.
And so I had him read it, and he gave me lots of pointers, and he set out to train me as well. So I was training under Chef Choi.
Where's that reality show? Come on. I mean, I hope you shot that for some behind the scenes, because that must have been fun.
They definitely did.
Oh, they did. Okay.
What were the biggest inaccuracies in that first draft that you saw? Like, what was the first thing you were like, John, you missed it. You got to change this.
Actually, not that much. There were just some small little tweaks and points as far as like, it was really about being too pretty, right? Some of the language, some of the language and some of the food, some of the way that the food was described, but really just taking it to the real kitchen talk. That's kind of what we did.
I had myself like wearing my chef's coat to the farmer's market, and he was
like,
smelling the never do that.
And smelling the vegetable. You know.
Yeah, he said, no.
They smell good. They smell good.
I just want to get out of there, man, and get back to work. And then Emjay Anthony plays my ladle, one of the ladles from the kitchen. Oh. No, he's my son in the movie.
Like,
Emjay plays my son.
You're so cute,
and
Emjay. I need to tell you that. And he's
my bodyguard.
I'm feeling that.
He's the
bodyguard.
killer. Look at him.
How long was this process, though, in terms of, like, for you, you're busy with so many huge movies, and this is obviously a passion project, too. And so from the idea or, like, working on the script to it actually happening, how long was that?
The whole process took about a year, from when I came up with it to writing it to getting it financed and made, cutting it together. The good thing is on those little ones, there's not a lot of money, so you can't take too much time. And now here we are at South by Southwest. We filmed in Austin, and we premiered it here last night. And it was so spectacular to have this crowd see this movie. I always love Austin, especially during South by Southwest. It gets even more intense. And we could not have asked for a better coming out party. It's the first time anybody saw it, and they really embraced us.
Are you a foodie in real life?
Yeah.
Well, I know you are.
I don't know if I'm a foodie. I'm the guy that provides the food. But John loves food, for sure. He loves cooking.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
We all love food. You all love food.
As an art form, everybody. As an art
for my craft.
Exactly.
For my craft.
So, Roy, you actually designed, I read that you designed the food in the film as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? I mean, it was like John writing what kind of food he wanted and then you coming up with what it might look like, or were you suggesting recipes?
No, I mean, to be honest, the script already had everything. it was just me coming in and trying to color in, between the lines a little bit, bring life to it. But he had all of the items already there in the storyline. The restaurant, the food truck, the Cubano. Right. It was all his ideas.
How'd you settle on Cuban sandwiches? Is what the truck was going to be?
I thought it was cool. I had been in Little Havana when we were shooting Iron Man 3.
Oh, right.
And Robert Downey's friends were from there and took me around to the nightlife there. And I saw some bands play, and if you ever could get down to Little Havana and see some Cuban music, it's amazing. The food's great. And I thought this would be a really good backdrop for the chef to reconnect with his inspiration.
Right.
And then he was from Miami, and when he goes back and tastes the food, he says, this is what I'm going to try, and that's the food truck that he opens up.
Right, yeah.
And so Cuban sandwiches seem really simple and cool, and everybody likes them. And then I was lucky because the chef here came up with a recipe for a really cool version of one, and actually at the premiere we had the truck.
I saw it. I walked by last night.
We all wanted to get it, but we couldn't get in.
We were serving the food.
It was
from
free.
The movie. It was free. Yeah, it was free food.
It smelled amazing, but the line was to Spain.
That's it, man. That's food truck culture, man. You gotta wait in line.
Yeah. I want to know, and MJ, you can probably speak to this. I want to know. You think of working in a food truck as being it's really confined, it's really hot, it's like you're on your feet. Was it tough to be on the set all day? Did it feel like you were really working in a food truck?
Not really. It's not that hot in the kitchen or food truck, and on set it wasn't that bad. I kind of liked it.
He learned to cook. He was part of the line.
No way.
You think you could make a Cuban sandwich now if I gave you the ingredients? I'm not going to do it, but if I gave you the ingredients, you think you could whip up a Cuban sandwich on your own?
Yes.
Wow, a woman will love you a lot one day. You know how to work in that kitchen, and it will work well for you. Tell us about having an amazing cast. Obviously, you have like everyone.
It was great. We got. Well, of the people from like the Marvel universe, you got Scarlett Johansson.
It's a little bit of like an Iron Man.
You got an Iron Man, and you're like, okay, I have this other movie coming up. Chef.
Here's the next. I told them it was the next Iron Man movie. They're like, wait a minute.
Tony Stark. He's just going to start a food truck. Even Gary Shandling, I noticed, is in there.
He's not actually. He was on the set.
Oh, really?
But that was a little IMDb wishful thinking.
All right.
But you do have Sofia Vergara, Dustin Hoffman, Oliver Platt, John Leguizamo.
It's amazing.
Great cast. Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah.
Who else am I missing? Is that everybody?
I got IMDb up, but it's riddled with errors apparently.
Gary Clark Jr.
I know we should go through.
Gary Clark Jr. from Austin.
Amy Sedaris
was in Amy Sedaris. That's right.
Yeah, we should look through all the trivia and see what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, you're the movie expert, I hear.
Yeah, no, my reputation precedes me. Yeah.
Well, so Variety's headline this morning is a quote from you. It said, "I shoot food the way Michael Bay shoots women in bikinis." Can you unpack that statement a bit for us?
Well, we all have things that we really excel at. If you've ever seen Michael Bay's commercials, he really knows how to make women look beautiful. And if for me, a pork belly sandwich, I could really make look like
Did you know you had that talent?
I didn't know it, but I knew I had a passion for it. But I reconnected with that, yeah. So this is a bit of food porn.
Yeah. We've got an audience question over here.
All right, let's go to the audience.
So let's take some of those.
Hello, my name is William. Choi, I met you in LA a couple times. We go to the Rose Beach a lot, and I met you at the Foodie Wine Festival.
All right.
And congratulations on your movie, John.
Thank you.
And everything. So I'm a food designer from LA, and if you guys are familiar with 3D printing, we have actually a 3D printer coming out later this year that printed these candies out. And I just wanted you guys to talk about what you guys think the future of food and technology and what it's going to bring.
So we wanted to know about the future of food and technology.
He said
mixed candies with 3D printing.
3D printed
Can we see
food?
these candies? We don't know what they are, so we're not going to force you. No, I'm kidding.
It seems like you know what the future of
food is. They could be like some sort of weird drug.
That is crazy.
This is not Burning Man. This is South by Southwest.
Try one, Shira.
All right.
I gotta try one.
Do not blame me for anything. All right.
This is food made from a printer?
Right, cheers. Whatever happens to us after this, I apologize.
You could play Dungeons and Dragons with this.
Oh no.
Are you into D&D?
If you drop 3D printed food, does the 5-second rule still apply?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, it's like
Is it good? What do you think?
Yeah, it tastes like candy.
He gave us a child. Now you need to eat it.
Candy, right?
My food taster.
We also do chocolate as well.
Wow, thank you.
Tastes like a now and later.
Amazing, thank you.
So what is your thoughts on the future of food and technology?
I don't know. When we started the cooking truck, I thought that's the future right there. I thought we were at the future using Twitter and all that, but now they're doing 3D from the printer, man. I just make tacos.
What's it printed out? I want to interview you next. You're coming up next. Okay.
But yeah, what are your thoughts, I guess, on technology overall and how it's influenced, even as a filmmaker, what you do and how you tell stories?
Well, we actually didn't do any traditional casting announcements on this. Generally, you put it out, do a press release, but I would just shoot vines with each new cast member. So you'll see, like, we have Dustin Hoffman and Robert Downey Jr. and Amy Sedaris and Leguizamo. So it's a really fun way to use the direct connection between the filmmaker and the audience to create a personal relationship.
So when you approach Dustin Hoffman with a vine, like you're like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna vine you now." Was he like, "What the hell?"
First he was like that, but then he made everybody else do them. So he says, "Come here." He'd pull them over. He says, "This is how we got to market the movie. We got no money. Let's do it."
So they actually get it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Vine is very good for the price, for sure.
Yeah.
Good way to get the information.
They love that. They feed off of it, right? Have you always been into Twitter and social media and everything?
I was a pretty early adopter, and this movie's about somebody who doesn't really know about technology.
Yeah.
And this guy plays the expert in social media, and he teaches me his dad. And I get into it. I get into a Twitter war with somebody, not knowing that replies are private, not private. They're public. Right. And so I get into it with a food blogger and end up ruining my career.
Oh, wow.
And then this guy builds up the food truck business through all of his social media acumen.
It's amazing. Speaking of social media, we have some questions coming in.
Keep those questions coming in using the hashtag Samsung SXSW.
At R_Elaine wants to know, are you going to use the same graphic designs made by Mr. Downey Jr. in LA?
Did you see that? If you look on YouTube, you can do a search for the South by Southwest chef poster.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr., might not know, is not just in the movie, but he's also a graphic designer and a graphic artist. And I asked him to do a poster just for South by Southwest.
Right.
And you may have seen them around the town.
Definitely.
Instead of doing one, he did 7.
Sure.
Whoa.
And we signed a bunch of them, and we've been hiding them around town and tweeting pictures of where they are. So that's been a fun way to.
Is there anything that guy can't do? He sings.
Pretty
he
amazing.
acts. He
sings.
designs.
He writes.
You've just unleashed like an animal. You've unleashed a creative animal out of Robert Downey Jr. How do you, I guess, manage to stay creative and innovative and excited about all this stuff after all these years?
How do I stay excited?
Yeah, excited and creative and innovative after all these years.
I think everything changes every year. If you think about back when I started, there weren't even cell phones in swingers, and now this new movie is about Twitter and about Facebook and about social media. And every time the technology changes, it becomes a different set of tools for storytelling. And I really like what's happening, and I also love that young filmmakers are having the opportunity to do their own work and put it online, and the cream's really rising to the top. So it's very egalitarian now.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you were a filmmaker now starting out, like, where do you think your career would have gone, or how would have it started?
Nowadays you could make your own movies. You could use a 5D and a laptop to cut it together, and you could make a full movie. When we started, you used to have to get film and processing and a camera and an Avid, and it just was very expensive. So I like what's happening, how the whole creative landscape is flattening out. Not everything's great, but the great ones are emerging, and I think the next generation of filmmaker is going to come, just like with the music business.
Yeah.
People who are performing on YouTube are discovered. That's what's starting to happen with film.
Definitely. Let's go back to the chat room.
Well, I know.
Twitter.
A question for Roy here coming in is you and Carl Casper from the film, a little bit of a similar journey. Obviously not exactly the same, but started working in kind of what we would think of as like a high-end, fancy sort of restaurant, and then ended up doing a sort of a more of a food truck business. How closely would you say this journey sort of mirrors your own experience?
I mean, he wrote the script before we even met.
Right.
So that's the weird, angles of the universe bringing us together. Every time I read it, I tried to convince myself it wasn't close to my life, but it mirrored a lot. But what's weird is he wrote it before we even met.
Right, yeah.
And that's the powerful thing,
Did you guys know each other at all? I mean, like, or like how when
we
he
didn't know
approached
each
you?
other,
Or...
but Gwyneth Paltrow on Iron Man 2 brought the Kogi truck to the set as a gift for the crew, and I tasted his food for the first time there, and I thought it was amazing. And then years later, members of my team said, when we were looking for a chef to partner up with, they said, you should see this guy's story. He started the whole food truck movement, and his story is very similar to yours. He might have some insight. And I approached Roy, and he was gracious enough to come on board and help me out. And really oversee the entire film.
And in many ways, it's like the entrepreneurial mentality. Like whatever industry you're in, you were in the food truck industry and food, and then you were in filmmaking and media. And in many ways, when you started, it was like you were an entrepreneur in your own way. Do you still try to maintain that mentality in your approach, even when you're working on something like Iron Man?
On the big movies, you're part of a whole machine,
yeah.
and you have access to a lot of resources and technology, and it's challenging in different ways, but it's a lot of fun. On these little movies, that's where social media really helps, because the personal connection between you and the audience, and if you could get people who would like your movie to be aware of it, you no longer require the traditional big media buys. If you have a good movie and people see it and start talking about it,
yeah.
the word spreads, and there are groundswells of appreciation for good work.
Do you fight for that when you're working on like a blockbuster film? Because a lot of studios might say, like, we don't want people showing the journey or the behind the scenes. Is that something that you now fight for? Like, obviously you have contracts now with actors that they need to tweet a certain amount of times and everything.
I think for the big ones, there's a lot to protect, and not everybody knows how to use social media properly.
Yeah.
But the little ones, what's nice is any attention is good, and they welcome anybody trying to promote the film. So there's a lot more freedom. But when you're protecting a big brand of a big franchise where there's hundreds of millions of dollars being invested in marketing and making the movie, it becomes, you have to coordinate more. And all of it tends to feel very driven by a marketing department, because it generally is, because they don't want to ruin it, because they know they have their audience
And
anyway.
maybe you could teach them how to do social media now and how to tweet now. We have actually a question.
In the crowd.
In the
crowd.
crowd.
Right over here.
Can I tell you? Shh.
Don't shush.
Shh. I'm just saying I want to hear, because I want to hear what these people are saying. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, John, big fan. I'm a foodie, I'm a cook, and I just want to know what your favorite thing to make is at home. And secondly, I'm children over here. If you could say hello to my son Aiden, who's 10, he wants to know when the next Iron Man is coming out. So.
Oh.
Okay, first of all, hello to Aiden. You got Avengers 2 coming out. They're making it right now. They're making it, and they're starting overseas. They're going to be shooting a lot of it in London. Great idea for a movie. It should be a lot of fun. As far as, what was the first half of the question?
Your favorite food.
My favorite food to make? I love to cook. I like cooking what my kids like. So right now, Roy's taught me how to master a perfect grilled cheese sandwich. And I also do some really good pasta dishes. A lot of it's in the movie. And the simple stuff is good. Cacio e pepe is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little pepper, pasta, and cheese. But the big thing is doing it with full concentration. And I've been also trying to smoke brisket now, like they do at Franklin. I've been getting pointers from him, and I got a big green egg in my yard. And I'm slow cooking overnight some meat, Texas style.
Excellent, thank you.
Love it. Thank you. And if you have any other questions, please head over to the mic right now. So now that you've gone back to your indie comedy roots, is there going to be maybe a future collab with Vince Vaughn again?
As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to film something with him in a couple days. I'm going to Atlanta.
What?
Really?
He's doing a movie called Term Life, and I'm going to go do a part in that film.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's actually been since Made. It was the last time you kind of did this kind of a sort of an indie kind of comedy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, was it intentional? Like, I've done, these huge movies for a while now. I want to get back to that. Or was it just this idea kind of lent itself?
The
to
idea
it?
came to me. I wrote it, and I wanted to make a very authentic view of life in a kitchen and what it's like for a chef who's sacrificed his personal life for his career, and then kind of loses both along the way. And then everything else, the casting and everything else came out of that.
I actually want to give a shout out. We are in a restaurant right now. It might not seem it, but this is the place that's been taking over. This is the Vince Young Steakhouse. So what better place to celebrate food and chefs than
And we
a
actually
steakhouse.
have, I guess if we're in the wrap-up stage, we have gifts for everybody.
We do have gifts.
Great.
We come with gifts. Let's see, where are these gifts? Are they here? Oh, there, you have them. Hand these down. There you go. Thank you. What for everyone? This is
Thank you. Here we
this
go.
Is very.
This is the best Christmas ever.
There you go. Christmas in Austin and South by Southwest.
Thank you.
So for MJ, when he eventually gets an Instagram account, you can now use
Yes. Well, we so appreciate you being here, and it's
Yes,
so
thanks,
fun
guys.
to see you with a movie here at South by Southwest and doing amazing things online all the time, connecting with your fans, the community. Give it up for Roy Choi, Emjay Anthony, and Jon Favreau, everyone. The movie is Chef, and if you're in Austin, go check it out, and of course, it'll be in theaters.
Eventually, right?
In May. It's coming out in May 9th, I believe.
All right, May 9th. Check it out in theaters, Chef, May 9th. And if you're in LA or wherever, go visit a Kogi food truck. They are awesome.
Oh my God.
Your mouth
And Chego,
will
it's
melt.
in Chinatown. I cannot recommend it.
Yeah, you gotta give your Chego story, your chubby pork belly story.
Yes, got to go get the pork belly bowl at Chego. I can walk there from my apartment. I'm very fortunate.
Chubby pork belly.
And for all of you who are watching here, this video will be online at youtube.com/whatstrending. So definitely subscribe, check it out. Keep on tweeting with the hashtag Samsung SXSW. We'll be back tomorrow with more live coverage from South by Southwest. This is a great way to wrap up our day.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your
and
time.
also, Roy's got a book called LA Sun that's amazing. If you
Oh,
wanna
check
hear
it out.
his
Yeah,
life
can you give us a
story.
little shout out? Tell us about your book, quickly.
I'm not great at shouting. He
You're
just
not
shouted it
Tish,
out.
man.
LA
You're like
Sun.
his publicist, LA Sun.
LA Sun.
Go check it out.
Great
Jon
recipes, great
Favreau,
stuff.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Your
everybody.
pleasure. Have a great time. Thank you.